I'm Darren Cope, owner of Cope & Co, specialist letting agent based in Derby. Now we're talking about the Renters' Rights Bill, which is going to bring sweeping reforms that will result in dramatic shifts in the private rental sector for both landlords and agents. Now this is the fifth video in my series in which I look at all the different aspects of the Renters' Rights Bill, what it means for landlords and what as an agent we can do to help negotiate the changes that it's going to bring. Okay, let's talk about rent increases. Now, under the Renters' Rights Bill, rent increase protocols have been revised, surprisingly, with the intention to create a more structured and user-friendly process for tenants. Fortunately, the government has kept well away from rent controls and caps on how much the rent can actually increase by, which is definitely a benefit for landlords. However, landlords are no longer able to raise rents at their discretion. Instead, they must follow a standardised procedure, providing tenants with clear notice and justification for any rent adjustments. So under the new legislation, landlords can only increase rent once a year, and this must be done by serving a statutory Section 13 notice. Section 13s are as they are now, but the once a year thing has now come in. Another critical aspect of the new rules is that landlords must give at least 2 months' notice before implementing a rent increase. This has increased from the current 1 month's notice. Additionally, tenants now have enhanced protections if they believe a proposed rent increase is excessive and above the market rent for that particular property, and they can challenge any hike through what's called the first tier tribunal, who will assess whether the increase is reasonable and in line with the current market rates. Now, the downsides for landlords is that the bill appears to make a tenant challenge much more tempting because, one, they have nothing to lose on a challenge, and two, the challenge will delay the increase if and when the tribunal agrees that it's actually fair. Now, the Renters' Rights Bill also eliminates rent review clauses in future tenancy agreements. If they're in existing tenancy agreements, they'll just be null and void. Now, previously, these type of clauses allowed landlords to include automatic rent increases, often tied to triggers or indices like inflation, for example. Now, without any negotiation or conversations with the tenant. So they're going to go completely. Now, although rent increases are now limited to once a year, we suggest that landlords should still regularly review market rates to ensure that the properties are competitively priced. This is also great preparation if a tenant just does challenge a potential rent increase as and when you decide to do one. Now, gathering evidence on comparisons with similar properties in the area will be vital to support any proposed increase. Now, the obvious thing here is to try and ensure that your current rent is as accurate as possible and use this period of time before the bill becomes law to make any adjustments to your current rent, because I think that the first tier tribunal team are going to get very, very busy. Now, another quick point. If you're a landlord who has not increased the rent for a very long time, now possibly because you have a great tenant or it's somebody that you know and you don't want to upset them, we've had it a lot, just bear in mind that if you do want to increase the rent at some point under the new legislation, a larger than usual increase up to market rent, even if it's market rent, may be deemed unfair because of the size of the increase, and it may be rejected by the first tier tribunal. I'm not saying it's going to happen like that, it's just something to be aware of. Also, just to confirm, about advertised rent. Any property being advertised must have the proposed rent clearly shown. It sounds obvious, and it's pretty much normal for the major property portals, Rightmove, Zoopla, On the Market, etc., etc., but also extends to properties being shown on social media, Facebook Marketplace, or in classified ads such as Gumtree, or dare I say, even local newspapers. The final thing regarding rents is that the Renters' Rights Bill introduces a ban on rental bidding. Now, I'll be honest, it's more prevalent down in the London area, but it does exist all across the UK. So this is the practice where prospective tenants compete for a property by offering higher than advertised rents to secure a property. Now, I've just said under the new rules, landlords and letting agents will be required to stick strictly to the advertised rental price, preventing any potential bidding wars or price escalations that could potentially disadvantage lower income renters and drive up market rates unfairly. Now, the legislation mandates that once a property is listed with a specific rental price, that price must remain consistent for all prospective tenants, and landlords and agents will be banned from soliciting or accepting offers above this listed amount. Now, the golden rule: make sure that your asking rent is the market rent for your type of property and that you are happy with it. The rule applies throughout the tenant application process, meaning that any tenant who meets the application criteria must be considered equally without being outbid by others offering to pay more, obviously. Local authorities will have the power to enforce this ban. Landlords or agents who attempt to encourage or accept rental bidding will face fines or penalties. And finally, we have created a new service for landlords which will definitely help negotiate the impact of the Renters' Rights Bill. We've bundled all our lettings and property management services together under one simple monthly subscription payment. Now, to find out more, please watch the final video in the series. It's on this page where you access this video on our unique Let Simple service. Now, we're here to support every step of the way. That's what we're here. We're here to advise, we're here to guide, support, offer any information that landlords need. Contact us on any aspect of the bill. Contact us on anything to do with letting properties. You know, don't be afraid to reach out, even if you're with another agent. We don't care. Now, this video and all the other Renters' Rights Bill videos that I've done can be accessed at rentersrightsbill.com. Again, thanks for watching. I really hope you found the information useful. Any questions, get in touch.